Let's go ahead and do it because this time, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we're back. We're back.
There we go.
And how about that, boys and girls? 105-94, your final score. 76ers come out on top over the Indiana Pacers. And 16.5 point spread, one too many for my liking. But you got to like your chances when you're going up against a team that wants to lose. And they're coming off a victory. So you knew that they were going to find a way to lose tonight's game. Credit to the Sixers, though, for putting it into a little bit of the run by the Pacers, making life interesting for the Indiana folks that decided to show out. And I'll tell you what, the crowd was pretty good. I'm not going to lie. I was looking at that saying, you know what? I give the Pacers fans some respect on that one. Good evening. It's Sixers wrap-up show. Enough about Indiana. I'm Sean Bray, Sean Bernard in the middle, DK Network, Crossing Broad, Sam Ostry from The Score. This bad boy is powered by 97.5, The Fanatic. Philadelphia 76ers come out on top, 105-94. They clinch the top 8 seed in the East. Maxey goes for 32, 8-5. Little scare with the injury. Headed back to the locker room, came back out, looked great. No, he was just talking to those guys, didn't have a chance to hear them. But a lot to like as far as the final score is concerned, Sean. There was a mission and they accomplished it.
Yeah, at the end of the day, a win is a win, and they did check another box right there as far as that goes. I won't lie and act like I wasn't irritated watching a large portion of that game, that it did feel sloppy. It did feel like a lack of energy. It did feel like this, like, not keeping the foot on the gas and coming with the proper determination that it straight up takes it at an NBA game right there. But the bottom line is they did get a win right there. I'm a little bit concerned by the Tyrese Maxey injury issue that I think we've talked about this hand problem for a couple games now, and him actually going to the locker room, getting that taped up is definitely something that popped to my mind. But the bottom line is, like you said, Brace, a win is a win, and they did find a way to accomplish that.
Sam, thoughts? Maxey looked good.
Yeah, he looked pretty good. He does seem a little injured still. He's 1 for 10 from 3, so the shot's not there, but he definitely looked better even coming back from that locker room too. I mean, that was a terrible basketball game, just from start to finish, just awful. You guys seen Billy Madison?
Yeah,
sure.
You know when they're on the stage and after he does like the education competition, whatever you want to call it, and the host is like, he's like, that is the dumbest thing I've ever heard. We're all stupider for having listened to it. That's how I feel watching that. We were all worse off having watched that basketball game. And God bless any Sixers fans soul who watched it, including us three, including our people who are in the comments. God bless you for watching that. That was a terrible basketball game. And it kind of says everything about the Sixers playoff prospects, the fact that game was as close as it was for 3 quarters almost.
Yeah, no, you're right about that. And like we were texting back and forth. The first half was pretty interesting, right? And then you think, okay, the Sixers will find a way. They'll start pulling away. They'll win by double digits in the third. Wasn't the case. Got a little dicey. And that fourth quarter is about as ugly as it gets. 17-16 as far as the score in that frame is concerned. Pacers outscored the Sixers by a point in the final fourth quarter, 17-16. That is just absolutely atrocious. But again, as we said, the mission was to go on the road, find a way to win that game, and they did exactly that. So now what? What's next for the 76ers, Sean? Where do we go from here? Obviously, Milwaukee on Sunday at home at 6 p.m.
Yeah, I mean, the top of my mind is certainly the outlook for Tyrese Maxey. Again, we've kind of harped on this for a couple games now. I think this is probably not something that just sparked up tonight. I think it is the same issue that he's been dealing with for an extended period of time. The 1 for 10 from 3 absolutely is concerned. And more so than anything, he wasn't as passive tonight as we've seen in a couple games like that. But that level of not having confidence and seeking out the shot just actively takes away from who he is as a basketball player. You need for this team to have any sort of pulse, for Tyrese Maxey to be Tyrese Maxey. And I would like to hear a little bit of a positive update in regards to that tomorrow. Now, overall, I think he probably soldiers through this, that I think Tyrese is going to give you everything he's got, and I have the utmost respect for that. They should absolutely dog walk this Bucks team, but at the same time, they should have dog walked this Pacers team, and there was no real intention to do that. So I would like a little bit more of a focused effort from a team overall standpoint on Sunday when that game does go down. But I do think if we are calling a spade here, this team is running out of gas as far as the outlook for the postseason and anything beyond.
Yeah, Sam, I'll come to you in a second. It was hitting me a little bit because I was just thinking as we were, obviously watching this game. You knew they were going to win this game. They're going to win on Sunday. playoffs were going to happen. Play in, here we go. And I was just thinking to myself, like, the odds makers still believe in this team to make the playoffs. The numbers are ridiculous. The fact that they think they're just going to go ahead and cruise right into to the play. Yeah, it's insane. So if you really hate to say it, but there's money, there's value on the other side. It is what it is. It's just the reality of where we're at. There's like 16 points tonight. I didn't touch it because you just can't trust the Pacers. They want to lose. So very, very well could have been a 20-point victory by the Sixers. Still ugly as hell, but I didn't think the number should have been the number, and clearly it should not have been the number. But odds makers think the Sixers team is going to make the playoffs, Sam. They think they're going to make the run as far as through the play-in with however it plays out. As far as you're concerned, what it was hitting me as I was getting into is the fact that, like, when it gets here, we are all going to be pulling. It's still going to be a cool situation, cool environment. They're in a playing spot. We're not going to be pulling for the Magic. We're not going to be pulling for the Hornets or the Heat, whoever it is. So we're all going to get behind this team, and it'd be cool to see them win that game. Is that out of the realm of possibility for them to win that game in your mind?
No, I don't think so, because look, as the standings shake out the rest of the night, the Hornets and Heat are, as long as the Sixers win on Sunday, which, after today isn't guaranteed, but as long as they win on Sunday, the Hornets and Heat are going to be in that 9-10 matchup. And the Sixers are probably going to be in that 7-8 matchup. The only scenario, the Raptors are going to lose tonight. So the only scenario the Sixers actually avoid the play-in somehow is they have to win. The Raptors have to lose their last game, which is to the Nets. So that's really unlikely. They'll be like a double-digit favorite. So that's really unlikely. But if that happens, they somehow lose to the Nets, and then the Magic lose to the Celtics, and they'll be underdogs in that game, then the Sixers make the playoffs. So it's 3 separate outcomes that need to happen, or it's pretty unlikely for them to get that 6th seed. So they're probably going to end up being in that 7-8 matchup against the Magic. And I think that's kind of where the odds makers are coming from, why they're such a huge favorite, is that Sixers might be favored in that game, even without Embiid, even with how they're playing and how they look without Embiid. They might be favored in that Magic game, and we'll see if it's at home or not. As long as the Sixers win and Magic lose, that game will actually be in Philadelphia, this last game of the year. So we'll see how that shakes out, but I can see that, I'd rather play the Magic than the Hornets, Heat, or Raptors than any of these teams. When you're looking at who the Sixers' ideal matchup for a playing game is, it's the Magic. This team isn't going to have Franz Wagner. This team has quit on their coach. Everyone thinks Jamal Mosley's going to be fired after the year. And they're just not a very good basketball team. Even if they've won, now it's going to be 5 in a row after tonight. So that's the ideal matchup for the Sixers and why they're such huge favorites to make the playoffs.
Sean?
Yeah, I agree with that. As far as I do think the Magic are a vulnerable team, I will say Toronto is not one that strikes fear into me either, but they kind of have lost the right to have any sort of concern. Anytime we talk about the Sixers outlook, it's all a look yourself in the mirror conversation first. And tonight is an example. We did not see this team play to this peak. We did not see this team have the necessary focus and seriousness going into a matchup. And if it is a better team out there, they're going to be punished for that. Maxi's awesome. Maxi, I appreciate the way he soldiered through it. But what is there around him? Paul George, I didn't feel sort of the urgency from him right there. The big man spot is a massive hole in the Sixers team right now. I do think the Embiid injury, and I kind of brushed this off last night when talking about it, but I think today when thinking about it, I do think that was a hit from a overall just morale standpoint and not having the competitiveness and the spirit. It felt like that tonight, and I felt like it a lot more tonight than was the case last night.
Yeah. Sam, you want to add?
Yeah, I was going to say, you think that there would be the urgency in a playing game, right? Because it's like you win that game, you're guaranteed a playoff spot. So you would think that would exist. But after you see all these games are must win. It was against the Rockets, and they had no effort, no urgency for 3 quarters. And it was tonight. And let's just read some of these names, by the way, on this Pacers team we just played that nobody's going to know. Micah Potter, Ethan Thompson, Quentin Jackson, Jalen Slauson. I mean,
Talent Peter.
Nobody, and it's not disrespect to these guys. Like, for G League players, they're incredible. For overseas pros, they would be incredible. They're not NBA players, and this is what teams do. They bring up tanking teams, bring up non-NBA players to play on their rosters this late in the season so they can lose games. It's been a tanking trick for years now. The Thunder really started it going back to when they were tanking in the late 2010s, early 2020s. So that's where we're at right now. And the fact that this game was as close as it was in a game that the Sixers had to win kind of says a lot, where you shouldn't be confident in them playing anybody, but the Magic is an ideal matchup.
What if you said, as far as focusing on the home element of it, what if the Sixers lose and the Orlando Magic lose? So the Orlando Magic will be home then?
Yeah.
What if the Sixers win and Orlando loses?
Then the Sixers are home.
Okay, so it's
Because the
just that
Sixers
easy.
have the tiebreaker over the Magic.
And who does Orlando have on Sunday?
The Celtics.
And they'll be dogs, you said.
So they'll be
That's right.
dogs. I mean, we'll see how the Celtics play it out. Kind of depends what the Knicks do and whether they're going to be locked into that 2 seed or not. But I don't think anything's going to be locked. So I think the Celtics might actually have to play
Yeah.
their guys.
Yeah, I think we probably get the full effort from the Celtics on Sunday, is my sense there.
We like
Especially from
that.
the standpoint of, like, they're still figuring out Jason Tatum. Like, he's looked well above expectation given the circumstances of returning to it, but it's still important to get every rep that you can as far as moving forward. So my full expectation was the Celtics put the, foot to the gas right there and make sure they put a full effort. And I don't think Joe Mazzulla would have it any other way.
Losers of 3 straight. Sixers find a way to win a game, 105-94. The latest report on JoJo, surgery went well. He was out, so we wish him nothing but the best. It's going to be a little bit of time before we even have the possibility of seeing him join the team on the sideline, let alone getting out on the floor. So I'm not holding my breath on that. Not holding my breath actually on either, but we'll see. One day at a time. Next up for the Sixers is Sunday, taking on the Milwaukee Bucks. No numbers out just yet. I believe, Milwaukee's in action right now. Currently on top of the Brooklyn Nets, 111-97 here late in the fourth quarter. So we keep you up to date on that one when that number pops. As far as tonight's game, looking at the box score, a little bit better performance from Paul George. I'll go to you, Sean, here. Did you like what you saw from the veteran this evening?
Yeah, definitely better than last night. There's no doubt about that. There was a little bit of urgency there. He ultimately finished with 21 points, 5 rebounds, and 2 assists, shot 9 of 19 from the field, 3 of 9 from 3. I was most offended from the standpoint last night of the lack of engagement and the lack of desire to be the guy. And I thought there was a little bit more of that. I do not think this was a, superior Paul George performance or one will hang in the Raptors of his Sixers career or anything like that. But it was totally fine. It was totally passable. He was what they needed him to be. I was more impressed. The guy that I would point to that I was most impressed with tonight was VJ Edgecombe. I continue to be blown away with just the way that he finds a way to impact games, and box score is not going to fully show it today. He finished with 16 points, 9 rebounds, 5 assists, had 3 steals and a block as well. Only shot 2 3-point attempts right there. VJ was the guy that stole the show for me tonight, though.
Sean, 17% from downtown for the Sixers. Are you concerned?
Yeah, I mean, they don't have a lot of good 3-point shooters.
Timeout. Give me a 20. Sam, excuse me, to you, Sam. Are you concerned? I'll go to you on that one.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm concerned. And part of that is because Paul George hasn't been a great shot creator for other guys the way you'd want him to be over the last couple of games, that ever since Embiid's been out, really. And Maxi's obviously, he's the primary guy who's going to get downhill. He's going to create for others. He's become a much better playmaker over the last 2 years. But Paul George has to be that guy. Like for them, they're not a good 3-point shooting team. They don't have a lot of good shooters on the team. But you want them to get at least clean looks. And for their stars, Maxi, VJ Edgecombe, and Paul George to create those looks. And I thought VJ did a decent job of that tonight. Maxi, okay. Paul George, not great. Paul George, he's going to have to carry a scoring load for sure. But you're also asking him for at least for these few games, the playing games and whatever they play in the playoffs. He needs to be a guy that creates shots for others and draws the defense in because of how much he's doing as a scorer. Because one thing leads to another. You're a great scorer. You're going to draw more defense in. You're going to create for other guys. So I hadn't seen that a lot from him over the last couple games, and they need that from him. And that's part of the reason why they're not getting a lot of good looks from 3 and shooting terribly from distance.
Sean, you want to add on that 3-point shooting?
Yeah, I think Sam makes a good point as far as like the Paul George creation and kick looks. But I think the reality is when we're going around the list, like Andre Drummond, I believe, is 5th on the team in 3-point percentage. Like that's kind of what we're talking about for what the quality of looks are. Kelly Oubre, he's shot a career high from 3-point percentage this year. He's not a particularly good 3-point shooter. And if Maxi's compromised with whatever that wrist or hand issue or whatever the case may be, he likely is not the knockdown shooter. 1 for 10 for tonight. That's not going to pass in a playoff setting right there. So they don't really have the options, even when talking about the looks and the creation for all that standpoint. The bottom line is I don't think this team is going to outshoot teams from the 3-point line on a very consistent basis. You should against a team like the Pacers, but that's a hole in their team, and there's kind of a lot of them that we're sort of pointing through right here.
What is Nick Nurse's obsession with Andre Drummond? I don't get it. He has to retire. He's had an incredible career, rebounding legend. He has been terrible for the Sixers this season.
Incredible.
Absolutely awful for them pretty much the entire season. I don't understand why he's playing 29 minutes. Adem Bona is an imperfect player for sure. He's young. He has his flaws. But he should not be playing 10 less minutes than Andre Drummond. Andre Drummond has been a terrible Sixer this year. There's no other way around it. And yeah, he's shooting more threes, which is crazy. But he just hasn't been good. I don't understand why Nick Nurse is playing him as much as he is.
I think I'll start by saying I think incredible career is strong for Andre Drummond. I know he made an all-star.
Legendary rebounder. I'll give him that. On the back.
Can I push back on that too? He's not a good rebounder, man. He's not. He's. I know the stats are going to tell the story right there. The dude is just huge in the stands on the
bench. He wasn't his day though. He wasn't his day.
Sure. I mean,
like he's not Mitchell Robinson. He doesn't have the instincts, but he's a big dude who gets a lot of rebounds, and that's what that player served a real good purpose in the NBA a decade ago. Now it's like you have to be able to do more as a big.
Let me just say this, Sean, as I'm trying to find the exact numbers.
Yeah, he averaged like 15 rebounds a game a season. I know.
No, when you go in, how many years has he been in the damn league? He's been in the league since 2012. He's still playing. That's a legendary career.
I guess. I mean,
simply just based off of the years. You know, last in the league.
An incredibly nice human being. I've had a couple brief interactions with Andre Drummond of like incredibly nice guy right there. He's a traffic cone defensively, man. He can't block a single shot. I think I could score layups around the dude. It's just there's like I'm with you, Sam, and it's just I would rather live with the growing pains of Adem Bona, who, like you said, is imperfect. He fouls too much. He's too over energetic. He doesn't have that, there's a lot to go with Bona, but at least I know we're getting somewhere. With Andre Drummond, we're on the decline. He is what he is. And I'm less offended by it like tonight than other circumstances, but in general, this just tendency to go to Drummond has been pretty wild to me.
I actually think that's why he's last in the league as long as he has, is because he is a really good dude and a good teammate and guy that people just enjoy being around. Same with like a DeAndre Jordan, why those guys just have roster spots.
For sure.
But by the way, 28th on the all-time rebounding list. Not bad.
So did you see the DeMar DeRozan discourse this week, by the way? Or
yeah, the score. Yeah, I mean, if you last long enough, you'll get up there. I get it.
Yeah. Shout out to DeRozan for biting back, but I do kind of think that's a similar premise of Andre Drummond's been around for a long time. Like you use Mitchell Robinson as an example. Mitchell Robinson is a miles more skilled rebounder than Andre Drummond. Josh Hart is a miles more skilled rebounder than Andre Drummond right there. So there are some of these stats that are just kind of how long you last. It's a credit to Drummond. Again, I do want to compliment him as a human being. I watched him wear a B-ball Paul jersey to Blue Coats game and sit front row watching that, rooting on his guy who's teammates in the locker room. I do think guys like him right there, but I do not think he's really an asset to a team that's trying to win basketball games at this point.
All right. Sixers and potentially the Magic. Is it a lock? No, it's not locked in just yet because they could drop to 9 and 10, correct?
Correct. To not 9 and 10. So the exact circumstance we're locked in. Let me get this.
So we're taking on the Magic. So we're locked in to the Orlando Magic.
So they could get the 6th seed if the Sixers win, the Raptors lose, and the Magic lose. They will be the 7th seed with a Sixers win, one of the Raptors or Magic to win, and one of the Raptors Magic to lose. And they'll drop to the 8th seed if the Sixers lose or both the Raptors and Magic win, if that makes sense there.
Yeah, it does. So, like, let me sum it up and just say most likely they're going to be a 7 or 8. There's still what's the chance? Give me a percentage on 6. Just give me a guess. Ballpark.
10, 15. Yeah.
All right. So
I mean, it would be one of the upsets of the year if the Raptors lost to the Nets in the final game.
Yeah, especially the way the NBA cooks it up. Like NFL, you could see something crazy, wacky happen at the end of the season, but not with the NBA. These boys are really good at what they do when they tank. Talk about the Magic 3 times this year. The Sixers faced them, including one time in the NBA Cup where they absolutely got boat raced 144-103. First matchup took place on October 27th. Sixers got them at home 134-124. Then the Sixers got them on the road in January 9th, 103-91. I'm pretty sure Joel Embiid played in that one on the road, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, JoJo did play. I'm not so sure in that first one. Probably did not in that first one. Did not play in the first one. And then that Cup, isn't that the game that somebody got thrown out? Wasn't there a fight in that game?
Oh, was that that was the Drummond and Wendell Carter
there you go.
situation. Yeah.
Right. That's right. So we're digging into that one. Let's go. got to take out our vengeance. We got to get our revenge there. Again, Magic are a good team. They're putting it together. They've won 4 straight, I believe, if I got that right. And here we are now. A tough game closing up shop against the Celtics on Sunday. Would this game take place on Tuesday or Wednesday?
Tuesday
night. So regardless if it's in Philly or Orlando, we're playing Tuesday night, or most likely playing Tuesday night against the Orlando Magic. We'll see what happens there. Anything you guys are taking from the fact that the Sixers were able to win both times in the regular season and put in that cup game to the side, Sean?
I just think the Magic are a flawed basketball team as a whole. Like, they've done this dance, and Franz Wagner has made his way back to the court now. He had a little bit of injury scare in the previous game, suited up again tonight. I don't think him and Paolo complement each other. Their three-point shooting is just straight up not good enough for the flaws that we just talked about for the Sixers three-point. They're 27th in the league in three-point percentage right there. Brought in Desmond Baines to sort of solve the issue, and he is a high-quality three-point shooter, but they don't generate looks in the proper way to kind of create this. So it's going to be kind of a rock fest if that's the matchup, which we kind of presume to be the case. My fear is, from a matchup standpoint, that I do think Orlando can beat the Sixers up on the glass. They're gonna throw the Wendell Carters and Palos and these big bodies at the glass right there. This, unfortunately, as we joke about it, might be an Andre Drummond game that he is called upon for that. So I think the Sixers are more talented. That doesn't necessarily mean they're better. And I think that's sort of the story that's been a theme here is talent doesn't win you basketball games. You got to show up and perform. And I think the Sixers carry this sort of air of arrogance of just because we're more talented, we're going to win. That can't happen in this matchup.
Wow, that's a deep bench. Jesus, what do they run? 15 deep on the bench? The Magic? Good Lord.
I mean, they've had so many injuries all year where all these guys have had a chance. Like Jalen Suggs has missed time, Franz Wagner missed a ton of time, then he came back the other week, and now he's out again. And then
they had
Paulo
10
Banchero
players
missed a lot of time.
They had 10 players come off the bench in that victory against the Timberwolves the other night. 10 players.
Yeah. I mean, Jace Richardson's been playing a decent amount for them. Jet Howard gets some minutes. Tyus Jones plays for them. There's Jonathan Isaacs is healthy these days. So there's a lot of guys who are playing for them right now.
How do you even get that rotation? I mean, that's got to be like 2 coaches' jobs to keep that going. That's crazy.
Jonathan Isaacs is actually not healthy. I stand corrected. I remember he got injured again. He's not healthy.
Yeah.
But he played in that game against the Sixers, their last matchup. And that's the thing. It's like all these games where the Sixers played, you go back and look at the box scores, and it's like there's so many guys who missed time, including Embiid played in 2 of those games for the Sixers. Jalen Suggs didn't play in 1 game. Paulo Banchero sat 1 game. So it's kind of just hard at this point. The thing about the Magic is their identity for the last few seasons has been their defense. But this year they have a league average defense. It's not like last year was top 2 in the league. This year it's around 14. Yeah. So this isn't some great defense the way it was the last few seasons. And I don't think they're very well coached. Like Sean said, I don't really trust their offense. I don't trust their process getting into stuff offensively either. So I'm not high on this Magic team at all, which is why I think it's a winnable game. But there's also a lot of reasons to be pessimistic about the Sixers. It just has to be one of those games where Maxey shoots the ball better than he has and just carries the scoring load alongside Paul George. And maybe VJ can give you some creation too. And Kelly Oubre has to have a game. It just, things have to come together for the Sixers to beat this team. And it's kind of rare we've seen that all year without Joel Embiid, but it's certainly possible. They have the talent for it to come together.
Sean, if that game is being played in Philadelphia, what's the spread?
3.5 would probably be my guess in favor of the Sixers. That would be my prediction there. And we'll see. I'm not arguing to bet the Sixers in pretty much any way, shape, or form right now, but that would be my early lean for what the line would be.
Yeah, I like Sam just said, you got to have a couple things go your way. And, if the team is if the other team is showing some fight, when has it gone the Sixers' way? I don't know. I guess we could talk about matchups, and like you said, all right. So who's defending Tyrese Maxey? And if they do shut down Maxey, who's number 2 for the Sixers? Is it Paul George, or could you lean on VJ to step up in a playoff spot here? I think you're asking a lot there. It's got to be PG, correct?
Yeah, I think Jalen Suggs is the matchup for Maxey. Is for sure what they would throw on first look there. You're probably getting some variation. I would guess Paolo probably takes Paul George right there. And Paolo's a fine defender. I don't think he's probably what you would think on paper right there. But these are, as much as we sort of throw this out as a joke, those are the games that you brought Paul George in for, man. Like, he has to be the guy in that circumstance that I think when we are looking at from a matchup standpoint, that has to be the option. And he has to be ready for that type of opportunity right there. I'm less certain that he will be, but that's got to be the look. It's got to be a Paul George game.
Well, while we're talking about this matchup too, the thing that the Magic do really well, which Sean referenced earlier, is they offensive rebound really well.
Yeah.
Top 12 offensive rebounding rate in the league. And the Sixers are one of the worst defensive rebounding teams in the league, with or without Joel Embiid. Even with them, they were bad. Certainly without him, they're terrible defensive rebounding. So that's going to be a strength for the Magic. And the other thing is the Magic don't really turn the ball over. With this group, the Sixers have to play fast, get out in transition. They have the fastest backcourt in the league, but you do that a lot from live ball turnovers. And the Magic don't turn the ball over that much. So there's a lot of advantages that the Magic are going to have just from a kind of schematic standpoint. But the Sixers they have to shoot the ball better than 20%. And Maxey and Paul George have to be the guys.
All right. Well, we have plenty of time to break that one down. Definitely wanted to get a little early jump on some thoughts as far as that matchup is concerned, because it's looking like that's going to be the case. Whether it's home or away, we'll find out. Yeah, I would feel a little bit better if that game was home, but I don't think that it's out of the world for them to go down and win a game on the road in Orlando. So as they did, I believe, in January, as we just discussed.
I do get the sense, by the way, that Magic fans are equally frustrated with this Magic team as Philadelphia fans are with the Sixers right now. If that makes you feel any sort of better.
A lot of people are picking the Magic to win the East. I mean, almost everybody had them as a top 4 team. You don't remember this, Sean?
To win you're talking coming into the year or right now?
Coming into the year. It's a very popular pick. Almost everyone had them as a top 4 seed at the very least.
Yeah, after the Desmond Bane trade, I got you. I thought you were talking about right now.
No, obviously not right now. But coming into the season, there was a lot of people to go wide open East. I don't trust the Knicks.
Right now,
a lot of people were picking the Magic. Nobody saw this leap from the Pistons, and it was like, this is one of the more disappointing seasons, especially if they make the playoffs in a long time.
Yeah, no doubt about that. Like I said, we'll have some time. We got a game coming up on Sunday. Am I wrong to just expect they're going to win that game?
They better, man. But I won't lie. There was a significant portion of today's game where I was like, I'm not. They're gonna blow this game. Like they don't care.
It's a Doc Rivers revenge game too.
It is a Doc Rivers
all-time media tour today by Doc Rivers. By the way, all time. What a
better win the game.
So here we go again. Yeah, man. He was everywhere. Barry and Shams. He said, Shams, excuse me. He said,
I miss Woj.
Yeah, I miss Woj, man. What a dick.
All time.
What's your prediction on that spread for Sunday?
Shit, I got this one wrong pretty good. So, I mean, the Bucks still love the Sixers.
Yeah.
Are the Bucks in tank mode?
Basically.
Are they in tank? Yeah, they're not like egregious, like
not to the Pacers level.
Correct. So it's got to be not a respectable number, but at least a number that's under 10. It's got to be like an 8.
Okay.
Sixers 8.5.
9.5. 9.5 is what popped in my head.
Okay. Yeah.
The thing is,
they were 16-point favorites today.
Crazy.
Come on, man.
I'm pretty sure the Bucks are locked into the 10th worst record in the league, no matter what. So it doesn't really matter if they win or lose that last game. So they're not really playing most of their guys, so it's tanking in that way. But 16, it's not a game that they absolutely have to lose, like some of these teams that were playing, like the Pacers and Wizards the last few nights. They're pretty much locked into that 10th worst record in the league.
Could be 16-point spread them.
They pretty much said this isn't happening, but what if we get that notification tomorrow of Giannis Antetokounmpo has been upgraded to questionable?
I'd love it. I'd love it. Be the drama. What else is going on Sunday that has your attention that is worthwhile? I know the Knicks and Hornets are playing. I think over in the West we got a pretty good the Spurs and the Nuggets, is it? I want to say. Is it another matchup of that one? Let me pull that up. I'm sorry. What is the big is there like a game that we should all be watching as they're all going off at 6:00, putting the Sixers to the side? Something that has a little bit more importance, a little bit more substance tied to it.
Well, I just want to say the Clippers Blazers are playing right now, and that game is essentially for who's going to be the 8th seed and play the Suns in that first playing game, and the loser of that game will be the 9th seed and play the Warriors in the first playing game. As for Sunday,
Denver and San Antonio are playing at 8:30. Denver and San Antonio 8:30. Knicks and Charlotte has my attention. I think that has some stuff on it as well, or some playoff implications. But sorry, go ahead, Sam.
But the Spurs are locked into the 2 seed, so that game's going to matter for the Nuggets, especially because the Nuggets sat all their starters tonight against the Thunder. Yeah. So that means they're probably going to be playing on Sunday against the Spurs, who are probably going to sit their starters. So I think that's a game the Nuggets need to win there.
I think they're trying to get to Houston, though, is what I've kind of theorized there. I think they're trying to get a Rockets matchup first round.
Who are the Nuggets?
Yes.
How's that shake out right now?
So currently, and the chips are still sort of selling.
Oh, you're saying they want to be the 4 seed?
Correct. That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
But the Lakers would have to lose.
Would have to win.
Yeah, the Lakers would have to win. You're right.
That's what popped to my brain when I was seeing those sort of injury rulings today. Who knows? The bottom line is,
I hate when teams chase matchups. It's so soft if you try to avoid one team. Yeah, you want to play the Lakers right now or the Rockets, then the Wolves. That's an ideal matchup. But when you try to chase matchups, remember the Cavs did that a few years ago.
Sixers did it.
Yeah, Sixers did it, but the Cavs did it against. They wanted to play the Knicks. This was back when like Julius Randle was hurt, and it was that Jalen Brunson's first year in the playoffs there with the Knicks, and they wanted to play the Knicks, and they were favored in that series, and then they got abused, bullied, out toughed, everything. It's just when you chase matchups, it's soft, and you're gonna have to beat all these teams to actually make a real run anyway.
When did the Sixers chase a matchup? Which one was that?
The Hawks year. That was the passed up layup years that we had this ideal path to find. I guess maybe chase matchups because they were the 1 seed, so a little bit not quite the same category there. But there have been a couple variations of that where that's popped up, and it's like, well, maybe we just take this. This is the cleaner path. I feel like I've heard a lot of discussion about that.
All right. So look, a lot of games where everything's gonna be settled on Sunday. Of course, 82 games played. The end of the regular season, we'll know a lot more about what's going on and who's going where. As far as real quick, big picture stuff, boys, when you start talking about the West, you look at OKC and San Antonio at the top. Of course, we know Denver's a team that is battle tested and could put it together. We talked a little bit about the Lakers and everything they're dealing with. Is there a team that's playing a little bit better, that's on a little bit of a stretch right now that has your attention? Like the Suns, Clippers, anybody at the bottom of the list that could potentially play the role of spoiler here in a first round matchup?
Yeah, I'll say I think the playing teams as far as the West, I think are both running in the buzzsaw that are the Oklahoma City Thunder and San Antonio Spurs. I think each of these teams you can find reasons for optimism in each of them. I don't think any of them sort of stand up to that level of test. I do think the Timberwolves are a team that has not been given nearly enough credit that they deserve right there. This is a team that's been gone to back-to-back Western Conference Finals, still has Anthony Edwards, still has the same core that's been in place. Jaden McDaniels taking a leap right there. I can't stop talking about how good the Spurs have looked, though. If you're making me make a pick in the West right now, I'm rocking with San Antonio, even with the lack of experience, as Sam Ostry always loves to point out.
Sam Ostry, I'm glad we brought up the San Antonio Spurs. However, did I hear this correct? Did the players vote on the MVP? Did that list come out? Did you guys see that?
Did not.
I didn't see that.
I heard it was being discussed on NBA radio on my way home. NBA MVP list from the players. I don't know if all the players.
One of those polls that The Athletic does.
Yeah, that type of deal. And Wemby finished 6th. They didn't even have Wemby in the top 5.
For good reason. For good reason, guys. He played less than 30 minutes a game.
Yeah, they didn't give a reason, but that's my first thing that went through my mind. They were wondering. It was Worldwide Wob and I forget. Jesus, why do I always draw blank on his name? He does color for the Pelicans.
Eddie Johnson?
No, not Eddie Johnson. He's on with Justin Termini in the afternoon. Antonio, not Antonio Daniels. I forget. It's a good show, but they were talking about it. And they said that it could potentially, gut feeling. They didn't have exactly, black and white, but. They said that, they could be a little upset with the fact that, like, Wemby, everybody said that they played hard in the All-Star game because of Wemby. And Wemby is just getting a little bit too big for his britches right now. And that's why he took a little bit of hit from the players.
100%. And Antonio Daniels.
Thank you.
100%. I think that's a factor. I think part of it is he made a whole case for himself, and he's out there campaigning for himself. And most of these other players like SGA and Luka and all these other guys are just like, I'm just going to let my game do the talking. So that probably pissed people off. And then also when you're looking, he's only played 29 minutes per game. And all these other guys are playing upwards of 35 minutes a night. It's like he only has to play that little, and then his team's still that good. That's I don't know, not fair is the right word, but we don't respect that as much from a player perspective.
Well, I
Sean?
respect it because he's still leading his team in points and rebounds, leading the NBA in blocks, I believe, still as the Victor Wembanyama stat. Certainly leading the league in the amount of times I watch guys drive to the basket and say, absolutely not. I'm not even thinking about attempting a shot right there. I will not criticize a guy for singing his own praises, for saying, I want to be the MVP. I want to be the best player on the floor. I want to be in the dunk contest. I want this all-star game to be a try-hard event. That's what this sport should be about, Sam Autry. So I don't disagree that there's probably players that look at that with ill will or not quite in the same light right there. I love that Victor Wembanyama is about all of these things. This dude's cut from the right cloth, and I think he should be fully supported in it.
Yeah, I don't care that he's campaigning for himself. I mean, every agent does it on behalf of their players, so you might as well just have the guy do it outwardly for himself. I think if you're the players, that might piss them off. Of like, we don't need to campaign for ourselves, and this guy is out there trying really hard to get in this mix for the MVP. So I don't care that he's doing that. But if you're a player and you're deciding they don't have a vote, but if they did, who the MVP would be, that's got to be a factor.
Like, I'll say this. I'll use this as a contrast. The Nikola Jokic thing, like when he's actively, I don't care if I win MVP, that bothered me way more than Victor Wembanyama being like, I want to be MVP. You should care, man. All these guys should care.
No, I respect it more if you're like, I don't care about MVP. All I care about is titles, for sure. That's what Joel Embiid said for years, is I don't care about the MVP. All I care about is titles. Yeah, right. He always cared about the MVP. At least all these other guys are on
MVP. You should care about MVP.
I mean, yeah, of course you want the MVP, but I don't have a problem. If you really mean it and you're like, I genuinely don't care about individual accolades and all I care about is titles, I don't care if that's your mindset. More power to
How many guys do you think actually believe that?
I think Jokic genuinely believes that. I don't think he cares.
No, he doesn't.
He has enough MVPs where the only thing that matters at this point in his legacy is titles.
He might care now.
I don't even know if he cares about his legacy, but if he did, titles are more important to him at this point.
I hate the cool guy act of I don't care about things. I just care about horses. Who cares about basketball, which is what he puts on. Just own it, dude. You should care. You should.
Well, he cares about winning. There's no doubt when he's playing. He's obviously cares about winning. But who cares if he cares or not about MVPs? I do want to say, I think the Clippers are going to give the Spurs a really good series. A really good series. I think Kawhi Leonard is playing at an unbelievable level. He's been one of the 5 best players in the league for the last 4 months now. He's been that great.
Has he been better than Wemby?
No, he hasn't been. No, he's been better than Wemby for sure.
Oh.
The last 4 months. The last 4 months, he's averaging career highs. We're talking about already a Hall of Famer, and he's averaging career highs in points, and I believe assists too. He's been that great.
He's been awesome.
Yeah, but the team concept, the team aspect, San Antonio is a much better team.
Yeah, but part of that is because the Clippers started out, 6-21. They just got off to a terrible start, and they also traded their second and third best player, James Harden and Ivica Zubac.
Don't help him in this series.
It's true, but
28, 6-3.
Sam, you're making the case that the Clippers can keep them competitive. Then you just led with that they traded their second and third best players right here.
Yeah, but it's that much more competitive that it's that much more impressive that the Clippers are good because of Kawhi. But I just think they're going to give them a series. That means like maybe really competitive 5 games, maybe 6 games, nothing more than that. But like
a really competitive gentleman's sweep, you're saying.
We've seen that before. It happens where a team's just better, but all the 5 games are close contests. We've seen that before.
Okay. As far as the West versus the East, more entertaining first round matchups. If you had to give me one,
I think the West is going to be significantly more of a bloodbath. That I do think the East we'll have a pretty clean time picking our brackets and finding which teams. There could be some interesting stuff. Like I'm kind of rooting for this Hawks versus Cavaliers series, which seems like is what it's shaping up in the 4-5 type matchup right there. That's one that's going to entertain me. Knicks Raptors feel pretty strongly the Knicks will take care of business here. We'll see what the play-in situation. The Raptors are just a team that I straight up haven't believed in all year, and I still feel that way. The play-in tournament, I don't really have a strong feeling that any of these teams, the Philadelphia 76ers included, can really strike fear in either the Pacers or the Celtics right there. The West, I think, is going to be a lot more competitive, would be my initial read.
I honestly think the first round is not going to be competitive all around, and it's a big part of injuries. I mean, the Sixers Knicks could have been an all-time great first-round series. Now I don't think there's going to be any competitive first-round series in the East. I think Pistons Hornets would be really fun. We just saw them get into another fight tonight. I think the Pistons would definitely win that. But if the Hornets can sneak into the 8th seed, that would be a really fun and entertaining series. I don't think it would be that close. But that's something to watch for. The rest of the East is going to be pretty easy. I think the Cavs would beat the Raptors or Hawks. I guess it would be the Hawks, but the Cavs would beat them pretty substantially. The only good one in the West could be Nuggets, Timberwolves in that 3-6. That could be pretty fun. The Lakers would have had competitive series, but without Luka and Austin Reeves, it's not going to be. So we'll see. But I think the second round is shaping up to be incredible across the board.
Wait, you mean to tell me LaMelo Ball was beefing with Beef Stew? Come on, bro.
Yeah.
You see what he said? We can't say it on this program, but
come on, bro.
Yeah. LaMelo also just passed up a layup, pulled up to the 3-point line, and then hit it, which just it made me
that was all the time
scream. But it's
and
LaMelo.
Then,
that's like as LaMelo would play, you'll see.
The Pacers did it tonight. They had a wide open fast break dunk, and then they shot a 3. It's like, all right, this is what a tanking team does, but it's also what LaMelo Ball does.
Yeah, it's LaMelo brain. By the way, to put a bow on the Victor Wembanyama conversation, do you see a stat line tonight, Sam Ostry?
No, I haven't.
26 minutes of play. Victor Wembanyama dropped 40 points, 13 rebounds, 5 assists, 2 blocks, a steal, shot 14 of 23 from the floor.
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
if you're not
Mavericks are really trying to win games. By the way, I mean, maybe the most interesting race is Rookie of the Year.
Oh, Cooper's
you guys got
incredible.
for Rookie of the Year.
I got to give it to Cooper. I get it. You know, I don't know. Khan had an unbelievable year. He's playing for a much better team. Understood. But Cooper and the way he's doing it, oh man, like it's got to go to him if I'm voting.
Yeah, I think both sides are sort of making arguments not in good faith here. I would vote Cooper Flag if it's my vote right here. I think there is a fair argument that Khan is obviously more ready-made and has had a better overall season. I'm more impressed with Cooper Flag doing more with less and him sort of taking the team on his back for stretches right here. To me, that speaks a little bit more towards the integrity of the award. Khan's incredible. Both these guys are going to have phenomenal careers for the next decade plus, but Cooper Flag would be my vote.
I honestly have no problem with either guy. I mean, both are legitimate votes. Both are having historic rookie years. Any other year, both these guys are easily the Rookie of the Year. I think people are giving too much stock to Khan playing on a good team, and they've been a really good team. The Hornets, Khan is a huge part of that. I mean, he helped turn them around and is part of their success. But when has that ever mattered to Rookie of the Year? Usually it's a guy that is just on a bad team. So I'd give it to Cooper Flag too. I just think he's the better overall player. But there actually is a scenario where those guys could be co-Rookie of the Years. And I think that's on the table where if they get 50-50 votes, each of them, they'll have co-Rookie of the Years. The last time it actually happened was Elton Brand. Your guy, Sean Brees. He was co-Rookie of the Year in 2000. Or 99 was it with Steve Francis?
No way.
From Maryland. So that was the last time there was co-Rookie of the Years. Each guy got 50 votes. I think there's an actual decent chance that happens this year.
I think there's an actual decent chance that Elton Brand becomes the general manager under Bob Myers.
I mean, we'll see. I'll also say, by the way, I think most
normal. You've been seeing him recently?
No, I haven't seen him in a minute. Yeah, true. Honestly, since the season started, I haven't seen him.
Wow.
Yep.
It's a busy man, probably. I'll also say in a normal season, I think VJ Edgecombe is probably a rookie of the year. Like, I think this is a Rookie of the Year caliber season from VJ Edgecombe. There's just two incredible outliers who've had ridiculous seasons in Con Knipple and Cooper Flag right there. So VJ has nothing to be ashamed of whatsoever.
All right, last one. Who's got the most pressure on them this postseason?
Donovan Mitchell, obviously.
Who is it?
I think
Sam, you did your rankings. Do you have a clear answer here?
Yeah, so I was gonna text you, Sean, because I'm really I'm up in the air. There's a lot of guys who have pressure. You could say James Harden, but he always has pressure because of his playoff shortcomings. I think it's the Knicks as a whole, but most importantly, Karl-Anthony Towns and Mikal Bridges. Because if the Knicks don't go on a serious run here, man, I mean make the NBA Finals, one of those two guys, maybe both of them are out. Like there's no way you can just run this back when the East is only going to get stronger next year if the Knicks don't go on a serious run. And it'll probably be because of those two guys, Karl-Anthony Towns and Mikal Bridges. And they'll go all in for Giannis probably. But even if they don't get Giannis, I could see them trying to ship a Karl-Anthony Towns out. So I think Karl-Anthony Towns has a ton of pressure on him. We've seen the egregious fouls, the crazy passes, just some playoff performances where he looks great for stretches, then he looks disinterested and terrible for stretches. So I'm going to go with Karl-Anthony Towns here.
Good answer.
Yeah, not bad there. I would have pointed a little bit more of that finger at Jalen Brunson if we're having the next conversation. If you're going to be the guy, you got to be the guy. Why is there not?
He hasn't been a part of the problem for 1 second.
What else can you expect from him? Defense? You
To
want him
win
to
a
grow?
second-round series?
You want him to grow 2 feet and play better defense?
He won a second-round series last year.
I mean, if you're going to be the guy, if you're going to take this team to a championship, the pressure is on Jalen Brunson is the way I would phrase that right there. I will say, if it was not for the events that have happened in the past 48 hours, I think Joel Embiid is the top of that list right there. Absolutely in that conversation. I think he has a case with it. If we're looking out west a little bit, I think Anthony Edwards quietly has a case in that. As he's been terrific. He's gone to back-to-back conference finals, but you got to be the guy that we've kind of fluffed him up in all these conversations. He's been incredible to this point. You got to be the dude on the biggest stage right there. So I think Edwards is quietly the case. Wemby, at the same time, I think is sort of in the mix. Is you got to show up on the big stages. There has been an effort to preserve you, to kind of treat you with kid gloves to an extent, to make sure that you're prepared for this moment. You got to be delivered. So I don't have a guy that I have circled as my clear-cut, like, top guy right there. But there's a number of dudes you can make a case for.
Yeah. No,
What's your answer, Brace?
Kevin Durant.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah, well, yeah, look, I like the Knicks angle. I definitely think because they're so crazy that they could just clean house. I think that they got some really good pieces. I think they're a good team. I think they're being undervalued, to be honest with you. I think now not a lot of people are saying, again, we were talking about this the other day, Charlotte Hornets, watch out, Knicks could lose to them. And I know, Sean, you believe that, but at the end of the day, I still think that's a really disrespectful take towards the Knicks. And a lot of people are disrespecting the Knicks. We'll see. Got to show up, and we'll see their path. But
it's just because they're not that good. That's the only reason I would say that.
It's a different season. You're talking about Open Cup champions. They know how to turn it on when the lights are shining bright. So
big win last night.
Yes, it was a big win. All right, let's put a bow on this bad boy. Another fun episode coming your way. Sixers wrap-up show powered by 97.5 The Fanatic. Sean Bernard from DK Network Crossing Broad. Sam Ostry from The Score. I'm Sean Brace. We'll be back on Sunday, probably about 9:30. Hopefully recapping a victory from the 76ers. Hopefully a loss by the Orlando Magic. Hell, what else we need from the 6th seed? The Toronto Raptors.
Yeah.
And that's it?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's possible.
We should give out our grades. We should give out grades for the season on every player and coach on the last show.
Oh, yeah. That's
a lot of A's going around.
That sounds great. That's exactly what I want to be doing on Sunday night at about 10. Let's give a grade on Paul George, who missed 25 games due to who knows what. Ketamine?
Yeah. We graded a K. Does that apply?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Grade him a K. All right. Everybody enjoy the rest of your evening. Always fun. And we'll talk to you on Sunday. Peace.